Hello everyone. My name is Charlie Deering, and this is a bird. And I'm flying this bird because I'd like to talk to you about history. More specifically, I'd like to talk to you about Greek history, and more specifically than that, I'd like to talk to you about Greek theater history. And even more specifically, I'd like to talk to you about Greek history as it relates to the play Agamemnon by Aeschylus. So why are we looking at a bird? Well, this bird is currently flowing over a digital recreation of Athens. In ancient Greece, approximately 431 BCE, as recreated by Ubisoft in the game Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And I'm playing this game as a tool to sort of show you and experience with you some of these elements in a visual, immersive style with the calm, lilting tones of my voice. Pardon the stutters and the frame rate. And so, to get us going, let's talk a little bit about the time period. And we're going to start down here in the Athenian Agora. So let's dive in. Alright. Here we are, walking towards the Agora from the Temple of Hephaestus. We'll go a little faster here. You can see that the columns here, the marble columns, are not just bone white, they are decorated. You can see that the market stalls are well adorned. They have colorful fabrics and drapes. The togas of the time are relatively plain, but still offer some elements of lavishness. There's some more examples of those painted columns. And these marble statues of the eponymous heroes are tremendously well painted. This is to establish that this is a very rich society, very artistically endowed. And the reason for that is, well, it's a few reasons. Let's talk about that here on the world map. Alright, here's Athens right here. And we pull out a little bit, we get a better semblance of the greater Greek world. The Aegean Sea down here, bits of the Mediterranean. I want to point out that obviously this map is not to scale, the cities aren't to scale, etc., but they have a good sense of where everything is in the world. And to talk anything about sort of Greek history, we do want to start down here with Crete, where the Minoan civilization was prominent long before the Achaeans were. And they had a tendency to sort of impose their will a bunch, around all of these guys until this one dude, this guy over here, Theseus, came down and deposed the king, and the Achaeans assimilated a huge amount of the Minoan culture and wealth, of course, and as well as their religion and a bit of their art. So the Minoan matriarchal society had a number of gods that the Achaeans sort of adopted. And that has led to sort of this element of these arts and artisans being appropriated by the Greeks. Now, was Theseus, an actual historical figure? Was the Minotaur an actual Minotaur? Was it a bull, or was it just a dude in a mask? I certainly don't know. Let's move on. Now let's get started talking about the Greek theater itself, the structure of the theater, the elements in play. While we are later than the period of Aeschylus and the Agamemnon, the Orestes tragedy and cycle, we are still close enough where a lot of these elements would have been the same during his time period. We have the same types of musical instruments, and get to listen to them. I don't have a coin for you guys, but I'd give you one if I could. And we have the same architectural, structural style of the theater itself. And let me go ahead and walk you through the different parts of this theater. We have the theatron itself proper here with all of these stands. These here are made of wood, but we'll walk through one that's made of stone here. This is built into the hillside of the Acropolis. Again, the scale's a little off here because we're in a video game with limited amounts of memory, but so it is. Down here we have the orchestra, where the chorus and the musical players play, as you can see here. We have the altar, which of course this is a religious ceremony here. This is not purely for entertainment. We are performing religious rites here, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Here we have the skene and the proskenion. Now, you'll notice that these guys are not wearing choral masks. It looks like they're practicing, the accuracy of which I cannot speak to. But we do have painted wood here on the skene, here on the proskenion, on the boards themselves. We can see what it would look like to the audience, or to look out upon the audience. And just for a little bit of a point out here, here is one of the masks that would be worn. Let's jump down here. That would be worn during the play itself. If we go back into the proskenion itself, or sorry, the skene itself, this is where they would be doing their backstage work, putting on costumes, putting on their different masks. Again, the actual architecture of it I can't speak to, but it looks pretty cool to me. And then up here, let's jump up here. Just ignore here. Let's get Sophocles running over here. Oh, Sophocles is going to show you a little bit about Deus Ex Machina. Now, over here we have a little entryway up to the roof. We don't have a crane visible up here, but if we did, this is where the gods would be performed. This is where they would come down, lifted, literally flown in by a crane, and brought down on stage to finish a particular scene. So, that's the theater proper. Let's move over here. Forgive the jump. Boop. Walk over here. Again, this was a religious rite. During the festival, the acolytes of Dionysus would bring him out here through this procession, out to watch the festivals themselves. And those are these different elements of the theater. Let's move to a different theater, shall we? Okay, now we're going to quickly travel up here to the Temple of Apollo at Delphi. Quite a sight, another religious place. This is where the Delphic Oracle would make her predictions. A very centralized place of the state of Athens at the time. And of course, the key dramatic element included in Oedipus and a few other Grecian plays. If we walk up here, pardon this guy who does not look like he's pleased to have to walk upstairs. Pardon me, sir. We come to the Delphic Theater. Again, we have the orchestra. Not sure what these are. We can say, hey, yeah, Sophocles is really stoked to be here. Indeed he is. Yeah, we're probably going to keep that. Okay. Yeah, he's just stoked. Stoked to be in Delphi. I would be too. Thanks, Sophocles. You're a real trooper. Let's walk up these here. Walk up these steps, well painted, marble steps. We have some shade up there for some of the higher-ups. Statues everywhere. And, of course, a gorgeous view. Not quite as beautiful as the real thing, but if all you've got is a computer, you know, what's there to say? Let's be a bird for a little bit. Hey, here's something you can't do in real life. Just be a bird. The Oracle of Delphi. Guys, thank you for watching my intro to theater history via Assassin's Creed. I might throw a couple other videos at the end of this. But thank you. And enjoy some scenery before we fade out. Now we're a little bit after the time of Asiclus and the Agamemnon. Not sure what he's in a hurry for, but let's not worry about it. The